Okay, so today we're diving into something else. We're stepping into a textural world that's so unique, so challenging, it almost feels like it's from another dimension. We're going to try and make sense of the work of an author named Marcos Magalhães Duarte, or MMD. And trust me, this is a journey that just completely blurs the lines between philosophy, poetry, and, well, something that feels a lot like paranoia. So, let's get into it.
Right off the bat, we're hit with a puzzle. One of the author's key phrases is incredible pena, which means incredible feather. But he claims that from this phrase, he can actually pull out the name Superman. How? Seriously, stick with us, because the way he gets there, it's just wilder than you can possibly imagine. And then you get stuff like this. The text is just peppered with these raw, aggressive, and really personal attacks. Phrases like this one, pretty boy shit, are just thrown out there at these unnamed enemies. It creates this constant, unsettling feeling of conflict. You're left wondering, who is he even fighting? And why?
And then you see these fragments. Code TEM, code Bolero, code the whole, incredible feather. It feels like you're reading a secret code, right? So the big question is this just random chaos? Or is there actually a hidden system here? Some kind of key that unlocks this entire universe?
Well, luckily for us, we have a guide. A critical analysis from the publisher P. das Letras. And honestly, this thing is our Rosetta Stone. It basically confirms that all that chaos, it's on purpose. MMD's work is a textual collage, one that is specifically designed to just shatter all the rules of conventional writing. The analysis points out that MMD is using techniques like stream of consciousness and even automatic writing. So he's not trying to tell a story in the way we're used to. No, he's basically mapping a mind as it works, in real time. He's building an entire world out of nothing but raw thought, memory, and emotion.
So how in the world do we even begin to map this place? Well, the first step is to understand its two most basic building blocks. These are concepts that the author himself calls the image and the thought. Okay, so this right here is the foundation of his world. You can see how the text is structured like this giant personal database. He just lists these long strings of keywords, all in caps. Everything from games and tech to life and death, biology, and even crime. This is the raw material, the clay he's using to shape his reality. And right here, this is the core philosophical engine driving the whole thing. It's all about this constant push and pull, this tension between two big ideas. A pure, perfect original image that he says belongs only to him, and the thought, the mental tool that's needed to even get to. So let's break that down. On one side, you've got the image. Think of it like the sacred original source code for reality itself. Its truth, its power. He calls it a high standard pattern. Then, on the other side, you've got the thought. This is the action, the process, the mental energy you have to exert to connect with that original image. Everything in his universe revolves around this dynamic. And that brings us to the central conflict of the entire work. It's really the story of one lone creator who's defending his original image from a world that he believes is constantly trying to copy it, steal it, and corrupt it. The critic really helps us pin down the narrator's role here. He's not just an author writing things down. He is a character in the story. He's the victim, the inventor, the creator, and the judge, all rolled into one. His voice becomes a weapon against what he sees as this huge, oppressive system. And who exactly is this oppressive system? Well, according to him, it's pretty much everyone. This is his list of the guilty. And it's not just a few rivals. No, he lists the entire population, society, NASA, even God, the internet, and his own father and mother. The scale of this perceived conspiracy is just absolutely immense. And his accusations are so direct, so unfiltered. Wanting to steal the books, plagiarism, they made the astronaut theory, wanting the food, they invaded my bank account. In his mind, these powerful forces aren't just stealing his ideas, they're stealing his very being, his image. So this brings us back to that first crazy question. How do you get Superman from incredible feather? Well, here's the code. He takes the S from his own name, Marcos. He takes the P from Peña. S plus P, he says, becomes super. Then, and this is the wild part, he claims to invert the letters of Peña to get man in English. Put it all together, and you get Superman. See? It's not just madness, it's a deeply personal, symbolic logic that only he understands. And that leads us to the climax of this whole thing. See, MND doesn't just complain about a corrupt world, he actually offers a solution. He offers a complete operating system for reprogramming reality itself. He lays out a list of exactly 70 formulas. And for him, this isn't just poetry. These are commands. They are precise, actionable instructions for how to align your thought with the true image. And by doing that, you can reclaim your own power from that corrupt system. The critic just frames this perfectly. They say, these aren't just random ramblings. They are a personal philosophical system and at the same time, a poetic instruction manual for basically rebooting the world according to his own rules. And here are just a few of those 70 formulas. They range from something really simple, like imagine the light, to the much more abstract, connect the thought to the image. He even includes formulas for things like telepathy and for achieving a clean victory. This is literally his user manual for how to exist. So, what does this all mean? After sifting through the codes, the lists, the paranoia, what's the big takeaway from this dense, chaotic, but honestly fascinating universe? Well, it all boils down to the power of creation itself. In the end, the critic concludes that MMD's work, with all its weirdness and intensity, is ultimately an act of profound defiance. By building this incredibly complex universe, with its own logic, its own language, its own rules, he's resisting a world that he feels is trying to silence him, to erase him. His creativity is his weapon, which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought. MMD work created a reality entirely of his own making, one that's governed by a logic that's almost impossible for outsiders to penetrate. So the question for us is, in a world that so often demands that we all conform, at what point does the simple act of building your own world become a powerful act of defiance?